Now, this video probably would have lent itself to an immediate upload tonight because I just had to speak out about this. And of course, YouTube is doing its maintenance stuff, and so I'm going to have to upload it later. But here it goes. So now we are in a situation where some deranged 21-year-old drunken person assaults and stabs some cabbie in New York City. And this is just going to escalate from here. And what are we becoming as a society? People need to speak out against this. And, you know, if anybody that protests this mosque or community center has the right to protest, then we certainly also have the right to protest. And we need to stand up for our values and for the values of society at large. Because this continued acquiescence to intolerance of any kind towards anyone has reached a point of being explosive. Do not ever think, and I'm talking to people who are completely against this mosque due to their bigoted viewpoints, okay? Don't ever think that people who do not think like you will not fight back. It's time to stand up. You know, as my research on this entire subject continues, let me read you something which I came across again a few days ago. Last week, you know, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was asking for an investigation as to who was behind this anti-Islamic and Islamophobia in New York City. And it turns out that naturally, right-wing opponents of Pelosi, and believe me, I'm not a friend of Pelosi's, okay? I have my own problems with the speaker, which are different from the far right, by the way. But claiming that, you know, the far right is now claiming that this opposition is organic and spontaneous when nothing could be further from the truth. Basically, what's happening here is, as Glenn Greenwald noted, the coalition's website, StopThe9/11Mosque.com, is registered to the Center for Security Policy, which in actuality turns out to be a neoconservative think tank, an advocacy group run by a former Reagan defense official and far-right hawk Frank Gaffney. The coalition's partners include those on the very far right, politicians and neocons and advocacy groups such as Keep America Safe, and of course the group that Liz Cheney founded, and the hawkish Weekly Standard, Bill Kristol, and other coalition partners. So it should be beyond any reason of a doubt here that these are not grassroots movements springing up, but actually hate being promoted by very special interests in Washington. You know, the Center for the Center for Security Policy, of which Gaffney is a founder and a president, appears to be leading basically a network of think tanks, big-time right-wing, far right-wing think tanks like the Bradley Foundation, and presumably its board of directors is doing the exact same thing. They had numerous defense contractor clients, basically $15.93 million in lobbying revenue over the first 6 months in 2010 alone. Other members of Gaffney's board include the former vice president of Boeing's Missile Defense Division and the head of the investment firm American Securities LP, which is invested in, amongst other companies, Potbelly Sandwich Works. The group paid Gaffney $288,000 in 2008, according to its most recent available 990 form. So this is not a grassroots movement here. And if it truly were, this country is in huge trouble, because it only plays in to extremism of every kind. And reasonable people must come out and denounce this. We can't wait anymore. We can't hope things are just going to fizzle out and turn out better. They're not. Stand up and be counted, even if it's only here on fucking YouTube. And every time you hear one of these arguments, start speaking up in your own personal circles, even at work if you have to, in a polite way. But counter these absolutely ridiculous arguments which are based on ignorance and bigotry. Hasn't this country gone through enough? You know, it's a joke. Glenn Beck is going to have this memorial thing at Lincoln Memorial in honor of MLK, while the Tea Party crowd is being warned against possible black populations in Washington, D.C. I mean, that's kind of an oxymoron, don't you think? People need to speak out.